Hi guys, my name is Katelin, otherwise known as Coach Katelin, and today we are going to be doing a client interview together. We're doing something a little bit different today. Me and Tiffany wanted to give you guys a glimpse into what our sessions have looked like over the last several months, and it might be a little bit more intimate, and we're kind of hoping that the people that are watching are able to see Tiffany's experience, understand what she's been going through, potentially if you relate, can get a good idea of what support looks like. And so I want to introduce you to my client, Tiffany. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Katelin. Thanks for having me. Hi, guys. So a little bit of background on myself. My name is Tiffany Dawson. I have been with Katelin for about 6 months now. Prior to having Katelin as my coach, I've had a number of different coaches before. It wasn't such a, I wouldn't say it wasn't such a great experience, but the experience with Katelin has been far, what was it? I would say, I would describe it as authentic. Just like you'll see us in this interview, the rawness, the realness come out. This is how our sessions have been. This is why the approach with Katelin and I has been so so real and so like yeah, effective, right? Sorry,
Thanks for sharing. Just so you know, guys, this is not something that me and Tiffany do on a regular basis. Oftentimes when you're coaching, it's completely confidential. It's between the two of us, and we don't often share what's going on. But I think that because of the subject matter today, we really thought that other people would benefit from being able to see how coaching can really be impactful, how it can be implemented in your life, and how important it is to have a relationship or a bond with the person that you're working with in order to feel safe and comfortable enough to share some of the most intimate things about yourself. So I think the first question that I would ask you is, did you decide to come here today?
Well, first off, I feel like, not that I'm gender discriminating, but I feel like having a woman coach is more effective than I would say a male coach, because it is intimate. Like, you know, like I am sometimes crying, I am sometimes angry, I am sometimes, the cuss words are flying, you know, and the things that I tell you, I don't tell even some of my best friends, just because it's very non-biased, like, and you're very non-judgmental. And the comfort level is there. Also, with there's a lot of trust as well, right? Like, I trust that what we talk about does not go anywhere, and I know that the confidentiality is there. But the comfort level is like key, and we just connected in a way. Like, I'm big on energy, you know that?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm a coach myself, but I'm more nutrition and fitness coach, so I'm very big on energy, and the energy with Katelin is just there. You know, everybody will know this. You know that when you meet somebody, you have that gut initial feeling, whether it's like you will like them or you won't. I liked you from the moment we met. And then it was just natural that we already were, I was coaching her in fitness, she was coaching me already, like, mentally. So the flow was there.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
Instant comfortability right away with each other, that which made it an easy transition, I think, to decide, yes, this would be appropriate to start coaching together in the best way that we can to make sure that we're both supporting each other moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, like, when I started coaching you in your fitness journey, we started to talk, and you even suggested that I talk to somebody else.
I did,
I actually talked to 2 different other people beforehand, and it just didn't work. Like, the vibe wasn't there, the energy wasn't, I didn't feel comfortable enough. And then I looked at Katelin one day, and I remember, and I was just like, Katelin, why am I not with you? You know what I mean? Like, we were already having sessions, so it was just natural, and it was just the right thing to do. Yep. And honestly now, from the bottom of my heart, I don't even know where I would be without you.
Thanks for saying that.
No, it makes me feel like I'm not mushy, but it makes me mushy.
She's not mushy, guys.
Yeah, I'm a little mushy right now. No, but really, I don't know where I would be. Like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, whenever it was I was in a completely different headspace. I would not have agreed to do this. I would not have been able to talk freely in front of anybody. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's been.
Yeah, and this is not by any means easy. I mean, Tiffany's doing a great job, and she's always able to open up and share. But I think that you're selective, and so this is a big deal for you to sit in front of a camera and talk about what we have been through over the last several months. Yeah. And so I think like the next thing I would ask would be, you know, why was coaching the right fit?
Because I couldn't do by myself.
Okay.
Like, literally could not. I tried reading by myself. I tried online, like going down a rabbit hole of social media, like betrayal stuff. Like I was grieving the loss of my father too. I had gone through divorce. It was a whole bunch of like life events that happened at one moment before I met you. So like it was just a conundrum of everything, right? Like a big bowl of mess. And like to unravel the bowl of mess and literally pick apart each topic and try to tackle it alone, or I was going crazy anyway.
Yeah.
So I needed professional help.
Yeah.
You know, I needed you to tell me, like you know what the right thing is to do as a human being, but sometimes you just can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just couldn't do it without you. Literally.
That's good. I think then, and you know, to say this, and Tiffany's done a lot of pretty intense work over the past several months that I don't think it's not as easy to do. She's been challenged. She's had to create routines. She's had to practice coping strategies that worked and didn't work. Reading books. There's a number of things that Tiffany tried because you were motivated. You wanted to move forward. You were passionate about working through what you're going through, and you were consistent. And I think that's why we're here today, is because you dedicated so much time. It's not about me. I'm there as the aid and the guide, but it is what Tiffany did with the coaching that really got her to where she is right now.
Yeah, but you were the catalyst, right?
Yeah.
Like you propelled me, because I couldn't have done it without your help, because there was things that like the homework that you suggested that I do, and you know, I would do the homework. Yeah, it wasn't easy homework. It wasn't like, sometimes I didn't really want to do it, but at the end of it, I knew that it would make me better and make me understand, you know, why I was going through the things I was going through, like for what reason I took this path prior and not this path. And if I didn't reach out to you,
yeah,
I would still be in this whirlwind of fucking back and forth.
Yeah.
You know? So anyway, I'm just super, super grateful that we have gone through the whole like tornado, and now there's still tornadoes, and there will be tornadoes to come. And that's why you will always be here. I will always have Katelin here. But yeah, it's been great.
And I mean, speaking to that, the tornado, you were going through a lot when we met in the beginning, and you had a lot of stuff going on in your past that maybe had not been dealt with or come to the surface. Can you help maybe some people understand what you were going through? What were the main things that were a concern for you when we first started together?
Focus, control, and priority.
Mm-hmm.
So like my focus, well, let's just say I didn't have focus. Right?
Yep.
Like I was managing my clients in the gym, my clients online. I was trying to like live a quote unquote normal life, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And then I was like not tackling the problems at hand, because I was trying to distract myself with everything else. I was so busy that I would literally take naps, remember?
Yep.
In the daytime. I would do things to distract myself from the actual work that I knew that I had to do, but I just, one, I didn't know how to.
Yeah.
Two, I didn't have the support or the resources or the knowledge.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like my focus was all over the place. So focus is one. Control also, I lost control of everything. My emotions, I lost control of even sometimes mentally, like my clarity I lost control of.
Yeah.
and it was just, I felt like I was going in a little spiral. Like on the outside, I was cool, calm, collected. Everyone probably didn't know nothing was going on, but that's just that's the person I am also, right? I have like everyone has a shell of some sort. But when I went home, it was like, fuck, I was depressed, I'm sure. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to socialize. I didn't want to meet new people. I didn't want to like talk to my mother. I didn't want to fucking go to my girlfriend's house. Like I was secluding myself because I didn't know how to deal with it. One, I was going through a divorce. Two, my father, I was trying to grieve my father. I had just, I was in a cycle with in a narcissistic relationship. I'm sure we can all relate to that. For 3 years or so, 2.5, 3 years. So it was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot that you were going through at the time.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things that we put in place. I mean, first of all, I think that most importantly, what Tiffany and I did together was just slow down and figure out how do we take a step back and take a look at what's going on right now, and how is work benefiting us, how's our personal life benefiting us, how is the naps in the day benefiting us, and to really find a way to reconfigure some things and test and trial them. I think, and that was really what we focused on in the beginning was, let's put in place a routine for you that gives you the ability to breathe, but also allows you to stop isolating yourself and get out there and be present when you want to be with the people that you care about, which was something that was really difficult for you.
Yeah. And I remember when we first started with the schedule, I'm just thinking back, like my schedule. So it's very different when you have a schedule, but you cannot see it in front of you, right?
Yeah.
So I remember when Katelin made the schedule for me. And when she put it on the screen and we were looking at it, I was like, what is this? It looked like a rainbow
of colors.
Shit. Right? So like after you like consolidated things and really like put my life together, it made a world of a difference. Like my life was like, honestly, it was a little bit of a mess. So there was a clarity, there came it was kind of so much lack of control that I had that I was controlling my lack of control, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then like, I was like on a mission, like without a mission. You know when you wake up in the morning and you don't even feel like you have a purpose? It was like, like I live in paradise. Like I worked for myself. I have the life that everybody would dream. Everybody works hard to have, and I did work hard to have this life. But I woke up every day and I was like, "Fuck, what am I doing?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it comes a point in your life where you just need to be like, you have to sit yourself down, look yourself in the mirror, and say, "I need to get help. I need somebody else who knows what the hell they're doing to help me."
Yeah.
So that's where you came in.
Yeah. And it wasn't easy too. We made some significant changes to your schedule. I would say in the beginning, it was really about just how much are we overworking to distract and how much are we avoiding so we can isolate. And so, like, do you remember like how it felt after you finally realized you had time to focus on you and time in the week to focus on your clients? And we had implemented strategies, which I want to get into I obviously at some point want to get into those strategies because, like I said again, Tiffany did almost everything that I asked with the caveat of, this may not work. It's individualized to you. It sounds like you might hate it. Give it a shot. She was willing to try absolutely anything to start to feel better and more connected to herself. And I think our main goal was, how do we prioritize you? And how do we get back to that?
And that's a good point. I think that, I mean, just being alive, and this is off of a tangent, but 2 of my friends have passed away in the last week, my age or maybe 5 years older. So just being alive right now, we need to be like, we need to have the awareness that we are already blessed for that. You know what I mean? Like, we're not living in poverty. This is like, we can get the things we have the tools to help us.
Yeah.
So the tools, the coping skills, at first when you first told me about them, I was like, what is this shit? what is this? The shower and all this waste of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That is exactly what you said.
Yes, because I'm like, I'm not going to take an hour in the shower. What am I going to do there? But now it's like, okay, we got a half an hour in the shower every day. You know, there was many coping skills. I think the best ones, the most effective ones for me was meditation, and meditation led to, and now, guys, we're talking about here self-love too, right? All this is encompassing like an umbrella of self-love. So self-love, like you are the priority, and self-love trickles down into all these coping skills. So it's like,
Great way to explain it.
yeah, right? Because it's like, it's self, we are here, and then everything else comes down. So we have meditation, which led me to like even my spiritual journey, because now I'm even more spiritual. Like I like to do tarot card readings, you know.
Yeah.
I like to do meditation, my showers.
Showers were a big one for you.
Showers was a big one. Shower, like just visualizing
Yeah,
everything.
visualizing.
Walking, being in nature, grounding yourself. Every Sunday, I journal across the street. I mean, I live across the street from a beach, right? Like, so I would go to the beach every Sunday and journal, like making that part of my routine. And it's just, it's honestly, I think that the word I want to use is gratitude. Like, I appreciate you so much, but I appreciate where I am right now because of all the work that, and it's not just me, because without you, I wouldn't have done this. So all the work that we have done in these 6-8 months to come to this place, and I'm not done yet, and I'm not, you know, I'm not far from perfect, but I'm much better than where I was before.
Yeah.
So all of the work until now is gratitude and appreciation.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course,
Like,
of course. And you now have these routines and this balance in your life where you're finding time to do the things that you love to do. And now you're actually, I mean, you're the most social that I've seen you since when we met. And that is a turnaround. There's no more sleeping the day away to just go into the next day. It's, I want to be a part of that day. And you have strategies and skills that you use each day that help push you through. And when she talks about the showers, no, she did not want to do the showers. But when we talk about coping skills, and when Tiffany was starting to learn how to implement coping skills that would work for her, it was about, you know, if you're going into the shower, you're making it an activity. It is not rushing through it. We're focusing on being present, enjoying, slowing us down. So those symptoms that we are feeling every day start to lessen because we are managing those symptoms. And so for Tiffany, it's going in the shower for potentially, was it 20 minutes sometimes, lotioning her body after slowly, listening to music, having the candle going, then slowly doing her face care. It's become this routine that is now part of her day that is relaxing.
And you know the best thing about it, I don't think of it as like coping skills. I think of it, honestly, it's the umbrella of self-care and self-love, which makes it like, it makes it worth it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not like I'm doing homework or doing a task. I'm not just checking off the box. It's like I'm doing this to make myself feel better, and because I need to know my worth in life, right?
Yeah,
self-value, right?
Yeah.
So I think I think it all boils down to self-love. I remember I forgot what I was gonna say. I remember the first time you told me about that, and I looked at you like you were crazy.
Most of the stuff, Tiffany was the client that always looked at me like I was crazy, but was always willing to try. But I put her through the ringer. She's tried a lot. You've worked through a lot. I mean, I would say what would be one of the, if you look back, what was one of the most impactful things that you've gone through that you feel like, you know, it was hard, but I got here today? And
I think, I mean, all of it was challenging because it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Like, and when I say like I like challenging things, like because like when you're going through something, there was a quote that somebody said, I think it was Angelina Jolie in one of her interviews, and she said, you know, what's like a piece of advice when someone's going through a hard time? And she said, basically, if you're going to go through it, go through it.
Yep.
I remember that, and I think I might have watched that just before we started, and it was fantastic because I remember sometimes, like even when I meditate, I would cry, and I would think, and I'm like, you know what, Tiffany, go through it. Don't stop halfway because it's hard, because it's pain, because you feel pain. Go through it. If you go through it, what's going to happen? You're going to come out the other end.
Yeah.
And it's got to lead you to somewhere better. You're going from one part to another, you know, one part A to part B. It's got to be something different, which has to be something better. And I remember me explaining to you this feeling that I had, and I said, maybe it's anxiety, but I don't have anxiety. You remember that?
Yeah.
And yeah, my anxiety was so high that it was like my baseline and my cortisol levels, the stress hormone, the cortisol, my levels were so high normally because I had just been going through things, and just like my response was just, it was getting normal to me and so I would just go higher and higher. That I just didn't feel, I was always in this fight or flight response, like, you know?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so I mean, like, even when I said, I remember saying, I don't have anxiety. No, I've never had anxiety. I don't feel anxiety like that, but it was just because I was so high, it was a normal thing for me. I would wake up and have anxiety, and I wouldn't even know that I had anxiety. And that's not a way to live. It's not
a nice way to live.
No.
Yeah.
And not being aware of it either. So I think their awareness is important. You know, like without the coaching, without the talks, without the cries. I think I cried once or twice with you. I'm not a crier.
No, you're not.
But I mean, like, when I start to tear up, it's built up. It's got to come out. And before, I used to be to a point where I was like, I'm not going to cry. It's a wussy thing to do. Who's going to, like, babies cry, not grown people. I'm like, who's going to cry? But I remember just thinking, you know what? Like, if I gotta have to cry, just get it out. It's gotta come out.
Yep.
And the most important thing I think too with you is the comfort level. You know, like,
yeah,
I was comfortable enough to open up my whole life.
Yeah, you were.
And cry and trust you. And like, because of that, I think that we've gotten this far also.
Yeah.
You know,
I definitely think it's an important piece.
Yeah, you can't just open the door or crack. You have to open it up.
Yeah. Be fully invested, and then also not be so worried that you're going to be judged. And, you know, being fully transparent is really important, you know, not feeling shame about saying the hard things or repeating the hard things, or, you know, things you would consider mistakes that, you know, I wouldn't consider mistakes. Hiding those things doesn't help us move forward together and put us on the right path to achieving what we had planned. So I think
because
that helped.
I remember there are times where I felt like I fucked up. Like I felt like I had maybe taken a step back.
Mm-hmm. And
there were times where I'm like, this is bad. If I tell Kate, what's going to happen? But then, like, it was never a feeling when I was speaking to you. It was always just, listen, I want to be better. I'm a human. It does, like, we all make mistakes. If I don't tell you what's going on, if I'm honest with you, you can't help me.
No.
And then I can't help you understand because I'm hiding. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was 100% transparency. Thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God we had the connection, and we have the connection, because if not, I don't think that we would be this far.
No.
Or here doing this.
Yeah.
Also. You know, so I think that.
Which is pretty crazy if you think about it. We wouldn't have planned this.
No.
6-7 months ago at all. I never had this in the plans. Client interview was supposed to be confidential, but I think it's really cool that we get this opportunity to share with people what the experience can actually be like.
And I think it's really important as a coach-client relationship for anyone seeking help, that maybe you should, like, maybe it's like an interview process for both of you.
It is.
Because it has to be a match, right? You know, you go to an interview for a job, it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I opened up to you about things that, like, nobody else knows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's major important.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there has to be that level of trust there. So that is like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would agree.
that's super, super important key.
Yep. I agree. And one of the major coping strategies, actually, we forgot to mention, I want to make sure that we do, is what I often do with clients is reading. I think that really opened up your eyes when you were talking about, the importance of learning. Yeah, it's not just about you showing up for coaching and only talking, or me giving you a goals sheet and we have this to accomplish within the next 30 days. I think part of the moving forward is really understanding what we're going through, understanding our symptoms, understanding where they come from. I think we said in the beginning, like, knowing you're not crazy is really important.
And knowing knowing you're not crazy, knowing you're not the only one. Like,
Yeah.
guys, you're not the only one out there. We all have anxiety. We're all going through PTSD. We're all got a freaking narcissist in our life. Like, you're not, like, really, you're not the only one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, anyone who's looking for, like, seeking or thinking that to have a psychologist or a therapist or a coach in your hand is like means you're crazy. No, we all need them. All coaches need coaches, and
Yep.
like, and so I think that's important, because I think it's maybe not so much now, but earlier it was a stigma to have, like, a psychologist.
Big stigma.
Oh, you're crazy. You have a therapist. It's like, no, honey. Like, maybe you need to have a therapist. Not a bad thing.
No.
So I think it's important. But I remember when you started to telling me about the books. I bought the books here so that we don't forget to talk about them.
Okay.
In my 41 years of my life, I've never, I just gave away the secret. I've never highlighted any book with, like, a homework.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
That's
that.
true.
And I have never, even in school, never been so enthusiastic to talk about a book before. I know.
And enthusiastic. You made notes.
And I made notes, and I did the exercises. You know why? Because it's the book is called Living and Loving After Betrayal, right? How to heal from emotional abuse, deceit, infidelity, and chronic resentment. Now, I had them all. I'm sure everyone can relate to those. But I remember every week I was waiting for our sessions so I could be like, this is what happened. Oh my God, listen, like, and I would read it to you, and, like, still to this day be fascinated by what I learned. And I think because it was a fantastic book. So good on you for choosing the perfect book at the perfect time, because everything that I was going through at that moment ticked the box of, like, made me understand and realize that, one, I'm not crazy. Two, like, there are other people out there that are going through the same thing and can relate. And while I was going through it, reading it made me understand psychologically why. And that was important for me, right? To understand why I was thinking how I was thinking, doing the things that I was doing or not doing.
Yep.
The avoidance, all of it.
Yeah. And it's just knowledge is power. And I go back to that too,
Totally.
right? It's like the knowledge is power piece is important because it provides validation. And oftentimes with clients, we don't always have the ability to internally validate ourselves, which is so important, because if we're only seeking external validation, are we really meeting our own needs? It could be really exhausting. And so the biggest part was, for us at the beginning was, before we get into any work, let's validate you and your experience so that you can know that you're not crazy, know that you're going to be okay, know that there are steps and exercises and practices that we can do and put in place right away that help the symptoms calm down, that help you feel like there's a little bit more time in your day for less feeling overwhelmed. And right away after starting this book, not only were you taking notes, but the day nap stopped, and the wanting to be around people started to slowly come back, and the implementation of journaling every Sunday at 6 a.m. like that was a big thing for you. It's something you would bring to our sessions and talk about. That was really exciting. And of course, clients are not expected to share how their coping strategies go with their coach, but Tiffany really wanted me to understand what she had been through so that we could work with that and then also move forward with it. So it was really transparent experience.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be, right? Like, you really can't hold anything back. And I wanted you to really understand and grasp, like, what was going on up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I don't say it, it's all over my face anyway. So you're going to know.
Yeah.
So, like, but I mean, I have to help you to help me.
Yeah.
All right. It's 100% from me and 100% from you in order to make things work in any relationship. So I think that was important. The transparency was very important.
I agree.
And I remember that I even scheduled time out because before I was not very much a people pleaser, but like I would go because I like to events because I thought I should go.
Yeah.
You know, now it's more like it comes down to the self-love umbrella. Now it's more like, you know what, I don't want to go. Guys, I don't want to go. I'm sorry. I got more important things to do. And what are those things? Those are my showers. Those are my self-journaling. Those are my peaceful walks on the beach by myself with my coffee and nobody else.
Yeah.
Like, you know, those
Yeah.
are my times where I'm like in my bedroom meditating with my candle on, with my dogs, like things like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, my priorities have shifted a lot. And I feel so much lighter. And I feel, because before I felt so heavy. I felt like there was like bricks on top of me. You know, like the weight of like an invisible weight.
Yeah.
So now I feel liberated and I feel free and mentally I feel more clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been to be honest, it's been very it's been life changing. I know that sounds very like whoa, but it has been life changing.
Yeah. And that's the experience we've shared together too, right? It's been really cool to watch the significant growth you've taken on your own. I mean, with me with support, but just significant growth. And that is, I think, the reason why we decided this would be really cool to just share. Honestly, I think in closing, I would say, is there anything that you want to finalize or say in the end, or any tips you'd give clients, or any, I guess, last words that you'd want to share?
I mean, in closing, I would say, really don't be scared. I think a lot of people go through life and they're scared. They're scared to jump. Like I used to be scared to jump, but now I'm a jumper. Like they're scared to live. Like we only have one life here. You know, don't be afraid to do things alone. Go to the movie theaters alone. Eat alone. You know, like don't be afraid to reach out to the psychologist that you thought you might look crazy before. Like don't be afraid to do it. And if you cannot do it by yourself, hire somebody or connect with somebody who you trust, who you can do it with. Because, you know, if you can't do it by yourself, then you unite with somebody who's on the same level as you, the like mindset, and you try to move forward that way. Because at the end of the day, you know, when we're in that hospital bed and we're sitting there and we're on our last days, wherever it is, you don't want to think, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have told this person this. I wish I would have spent a little more time with this person. And you could have done that stuff if you would have just had the awareness, but from somebody else helping you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have any regrets. And now moving forward, I have the skills that I can apply forward in life to make decisions, better decisions, because of us and because of the coaching, you know? So yeah, I would in closing, like, just don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Just go through it.
Go through it.
Whatever it is, go right through, you know?
Yep. Wow. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
This was cool. I'm really happy that we got the opportunity to do this. And I
Yeah.
do hope that for anybody watching, they get an idea of what coaching is really like, and getting support is really life. And it's not this dangerous, uncomfortable word anymore. And, you know,
No.
self-improvement is something that is I'm not looking for the word, but it is something to aspire to. We all need to work on ourselves in one way or another. It isn't easy work, but it can be so rewarding. So yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Katelin.
And yeah, I think that's it.